Hello there. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to be doing my rankings of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL going into this upcoming season. I'm going to be ranking them based on personal bias, above all, of course, per usual. But I'm also a big eye test guy, so if the guy looks really good, he's going to be pretty high on my list. I also think looks good. Maybe I should phrase that better. I'm not ranking them based on looks. I'm ranking them based on how they play. Anyways, I'm also gonna value statistics as well. So obviously, if they got good statistics, that's gonna be something I measure. I also think how far the team goes in the playoffs is kind of it's a team stat, but I also think like if your quarterback is good, he's going to be able to carry the team to the playoffs, deeper into the playoffs, just based on how clutch he is and how good he is. He'll be able to carry the team over some hurdles. But that's how I'm ranking them. So stick around and I'll get right into it. I'm going to have one honorable mention before I get into the top 10. So, number 11, pretty much. I'm going CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. He had an amazing rookie season, like one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen. But last year, he just didn't replicate that. The team ended up doing the exact same pretty much. They went 10-7 both years, won their first playoff game, and then lose in the divisional round. But his personal statistics definitely took a step back. And maybe you could blame that on the injuries to their offense. Like literally every receiver they have that's prominent got injured. Stephon Diggs tore his ACL, Tank Dell got hurt, and Nico Collins like didn't have like a season-ending injury, but he did miss like 4 or 5 games, I believe. So I would just like to see him have more of a return to form from his rookie season to break into the top 10 for me. But right now he's just sitting just outside. At number 10, I'm going to go with Justin Herbert. This might be a little controversially low compared to where most people would rank him. And I do think he is super talented and the potential is there for him to just go all the way up. But he has just been horrible in the playoffs and his team hasn't done anything like too crazy. Like, I don't even know if they've won the division at all since like he's been there. Granted, that's because he's in the division with the Chiefs, but if you can't win your own division, how good can you really be? But super talented. He just needs to do more in the playoffs, and his only two playoff showings have been kind of embarrassing. He had the one game where he blew a 27-0 lead. In his game this last year, he had 4 interceptions. So he needs to step it up in the playoffs to move up for me, but he's still really talented. At number 9, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. I actually debated putting Baker higher since I'm a Buccaneers fan, but I thought that maybe it would be a little too biased of me to have him too high on this list. But I have been a fan of Baker his whole career. I think he's been underrated his whole career, just been hated on just because he's kind of cocky. But granted, we do have some quarterbacks who come out cocky and then end up sucking, so fair criticism, I guess. But he does back it up. He puts up good stats. He has just a confidence and an aura around him. Like literally, just go watch like a Baker Mayfield edit right now. He's just funny. He made the playoffs both of the last 2 years of the Buccaneers. He made the Pro Bowl both of the last 2 years, which granted is a little less impressive when you're in the NFC when like the top like 4 quarterbacks all play in the AFC, but still an impressive feat to make the Pro Bowl 2 years in a row. And his stats have been really good since he joined the Buccaneers. And I'm mostly basing this list off the last couple years and projecting a little bit for this next year. So just based on the last couple years, I mean, he is a top 10 quarterback. Like the statistics back it up, his team's performance backs it up. And yeah, I just think he's solid at number 9, could be even higher. At number 8, I'm going to go with Jared Goff. He has been consistent and just a solid quarterback the last few years. He led the Lions to the playoffs last 2 years, was the 1 seed last year. They did choke in the divisional round of the Commanders, and as a Packers fan, I found that hilarious. But, you know, that's like the one criticism against him is that, like, can he be the Super Bowl caliber quarterback? Can he get over the hump? I think that's why the Rams traded him, is because they just didn't see him as quite good enough to get him over the hump. But if he could prove that, then he would definitely move up the list. But right now, I think he's solid at 8, and I don't look forward to playing him as a Packers fan. So he is pretty good and deserves this spot. At number 7, I'm going to go Matthew Stafford. I debated putting him as high as 5, and the reason I have him ahead of Goff and Mayfield is because I think I would just take him straight up in the playoffs. For the regular season, maybe he's more injury prone, a little bit more inconsistent, doesn't put up as good of stats, but in the playoffs, this guy is just, you don't want to see him. And I think since he's won a Super Bowl now, he has like a confidence about him where you don't want to play against that. Like, he's going to be good and he's not going to blink. And he just is that Super Bowl worthy quarterback now. Like, you can't take that away from him. He is getting older, which kept me from putting him higher. And he has this back injury he's already dealing with this year, but still a really solid quarterback. Still going to be a threat if they make it to the playoffs. At number 6, I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. Now, I know he's only played 1 year, but that year was the best rookie season ever, and he made it to the NFC Championship game, won 2 upset playoff games on the road. He's like one of the greatest dual threat quarterbacks in the league already, behind Lamar and like maybe Josh Allen, so he's like 2 or 3 at that. And I need him to do it again this year. Like, I need him to be good again because I don't want to get fooled how CJ Stroud kind of had a sophomore slump. Like, he really needs to just be consistently that good to cement his spot in the top 10 or at least top 6 at this point to me. But if he can do it again this year, I think he might even be top 5. At number 5, I have Jalen Hurts. And I honestly don't really feel that good about having him at 5, but it's just everyone else has their issues where it's just I couldn't put them there either. I think 5 through 10 is very, very close, honestly. Like, no one is really miles ahead of each other. But I had to go with Hurts just because recency bias. He just won the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl MVP. He had an amazing statistical season, even though it was like kind of on the short end where he didn't really have a lot of touchdowns, but he only threw 5 interceptions and he played good enough to let his team win like 14 games this last year and go all the way to the Super Bowl. And granted, he is getting carried by the Avengers. He literally has Saquon, who was the best running back. He has like a top 5 O line, top 5 receivers, probably a top 5 defense. But he is still a key cog in this team. Like, you couldn't just put any quarterback in there and go all the way. Like, he still has to be at a certain level to win the Super Bowl, and he's doing it. And it's not a fluke year because they made it to the Super Bowl before with him. So clearly he's that good. Going into the top 4, I think there's kind of a gap here now where these are the elite quarterbacks. And at number 4, I'm going with Joe Burrow. The one big knock against Burrow, where I have him behind the other 3 guys ahead of him, is that he missed the playoffs the last 2 years. And that is a pretty big knock against him. But this last year, I think it was just completely on the defense letting him down. I also don't think he has the greatest head coach in Zach Taylor. And the defense just sucked. The Bengals literally put up like 40 points a game and still go 9-8. And if they win one more game, they are in the playoffs. And the year before that, he was also injured the last half of the year, and they still went 9-8. But his statistics are just insane. I think he's proven that he can be that top level quarterback because he's already made it to a Super Bowl and would have had a decent chance if they didn't run into the Rams, which is like an all time legendary team. And he also just has the feat of beating Mahomes in the playoffs, which, like, what, 3 quarterbacks have done? Brady, Jalen Hurts, and him. So that's also a big pro for him. But yeah, he's very solid here at 4. At number 3, I am going with Lamar Jackson. I think he is easily the best dual threat quarterback ever. I think if we're just counting the regular season, he could maybe even be considered to be a top 10 quarterback ever. He just needs to step it up in the playoffs. And he hasn't even been like bad in the playoffs the last couple years. It's just when he gets into the big games, he's just clearly not as impactful. I don't know if it's in his head or what, but that's a discussion for another day. He's a human highlight reel. The Ravens are in the Super Bowl bubble every year, and it's because of him. And he does have pieces around him too, and he has a good coach, but he's the one that's putting this team over the top and getting them in the Super Bowl conversation every year. So very clear and obvious choice here at 3. All right, at number 2, I'm going to get controversial again and possibly borderline rage bait, but I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. He clearly is the best quarterback for like legacy wise in the NFL right now. Like he has what, 3 Super Bowls already, 2 MVPs, but just the last 2 seasons, I don't think he's been statistically the best quarterback, and just like hasn't had the highlight plays. Just you could even say Lamar has been more of a highlight reel than him. He just does like the easy stuff better than anyone. He gets the ball where it needs to be. He will methodically drive down the field. It's just he hasn't had the big plays that number one has, even number three has, but still got to put him at number two. Strongly debated putting him at one still, but he just needs to be better in the regular season statistically. I want to see the big plays return for him to move up, or even just like if he wins the Super Bowl again, it's like, yeah, we're going to put him back at one. It's just didn't win the Super Bowl this year, didn't have the greatest statistical season, didn't even make the Pro Bowl, but that's just because the 3 guys that did in the AFC put up monster statistical seasons, so can't really fault him for that. He is still good, but yeah, still got to put him at two because number one is just too good. All right, and number one is the reason why I had to make this video is so I could meet ride Josh Allen a little bit harder, and so my friend Jake would be happy because he also meet rides Josh Allen. But I watched a weird amount of Bills games this year, and the eye test, he is just out of this world. He makes every throw. When he runs the ball, literally it's just bouncing off of defenders. He is so hard to bring down. He cut back the turnovers this year. That was like one of the huge cons against him. Like before this year, maybe you could say he was the second best, third best, maybe behind Lamar. But cutting back on the interceptions this year really boosted him up for me. And I do think people say Lamar should have been MVP again this year. I do think Lamar was better statistically, but Josh Allen just carried his team so much harder. Like Lamar had a better coach, Derrick Henry, better defense. Josh Allen had Khalil Shakir, James Cook, and Keon Coleman. Like he carried that team, and that is why he won MVP. That is why I think he is the best quarterback in the NFL. And people are going to argue, oh, but Mahomes beats him in the playoffs every year. True, that is a very solid argument, but I just think that's more of a Chiefs being better than the Bills than it is Mahomes being better than Allen. I think they are very close. You could even say 1A, 1B, but Allen just has been putting up more highlight plays for me the last couple of years. He's just done more for me. And maybe it's personal biased. Like to me, this is like Manning versus Brady back in the day. Like Brady has the better legacy, Mahomes has the better legacy, but Peyton in his prime was just a monster, and at the peak of his powers was just had years where he was better than Brady. And I think this is one of those years where you can argue Allen was better than Mahomes. It's just Mahomes beat him in the playoffs because the Bills choke, and that's not even on Allen. So, yeah, he's number one. All right, now that I have the Josh Allen meat riding out of the way, got to give you the outro. So, please like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching. If you have any other ideas, let me know. I do have a big list of ideas, a lot of them are NFL related. I might do a record prediction video if I find time to get that out before the season starts. I also might do like top 10 quarterbacks ever at some point. So if you want to see that, just let me know and I'll actually work on it. That's the reason I made this video, is because Jake told me he wanted to see my top 10 quarterbacks so I could meet ride Josh Allen with him. So listen to your feedback. I love it. Let me know. Thank you for watching.